My guest today has evidence that not only does she think Meghan and Harry have separated, but guys, that's not even their house. Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signor, and Royal Guest Week is upon us, where I have guests who do the royals beautifully. And I'm so excited to have today's guest, Sue Smith, Miss Longsally herself. How are you doing, Sue?
I'm doing just fine, Andy. How are you?
So nice to have you back. You've been on, you've been here, but we haven't really gotten to talk royals before. We've talked about boozy and things. But I'm so excited to talk royals because I don't know if you heard, I've now fully converted and I'm no longer a fan of this Meghan and Harry characters. We've been doing coverage here and the audience is just loving it. If you guys want really good coverage, though, make sure you go support Sue over on YouTube at Sue Smith Longsally. Sue, now we get to finally dish about the royals. And as I've been educating myself this week, bringing in experts on the subject, you blew my mind. You are going to prove to the audience, or with your theories here, we're conjecturing, we're speculating, that this is not their house. This 15, 20 million, depending on who you ask, Montecito mansion that they keep throwing around photos of, that even I bought, that's all over headlines. You're telling me that this is not actually this house, this is a fake house?
Well, I believe it's a real house. I just don't believe that they own that house. That house, since they purchased it, has been available for rent, for shows, for studios, for filming, for music videos. Somehow I just don't see Harry and Meghan allowing that kind of production onto their property in a place where they're living. And of course, we also have the fact that when they were filming their Netflix, I don't like to call it a documentary because we've already debunked half the stuff in it, their Netflix show, their first producer or director, whoever it was, left because they refused to let them tape in their home. And that's because I believe that's not where they live.
Well, and so maybe that's fair. Maybe they've put out a fake house to try to hide their real house. I could believe they seem to be crazy about the privacy so much that they would do that, but it doesn't help the credibility, right? So yet now another example, we're like, so wait, what's real and what's not? It's only, I feel like, making matters worse to put out there in headlines and have Meghan do articles saying like, oh, we could barely afford, but we got the mortgage and we live in this amazing house that there's photos of. And yes, Sue is right. It's a production house. There's like evidence that's come forward where, yeah, you can rent out the house and it's clearly, I mean, it makes sense, Sue, right? Because it's above their price range. Do you think this is just like a status? It was a way to save privacy, but also get status. Do you like Tyler Perry and all them probably have heard this and just think, oh, smart, you're hiding your house, but they don't hide their houses. Why do you think they're doing this?
I think we've got a little bit of paranoia going on. And I think as time has progressed, there's more and more of I don't believe that Harry's in any danger, and I don't believe the children are in any danger. I think Meghan might be in danger because people really dislike her. And so I think she doesn't want people to know where they're actually laying their heads at night. So that's my thought.
Yeah, and
process.
That's not a threat.
Also,
I don't want to take that account. You're just
no,
saying
it's
there's
not
a lot.
Threat.
They think, there are people, hey, obviously don't do that, people. That's ridiculous. But there are some crazy people, and there's a lot of attention to her.
Yep.
So I could see that she might be worried of that. And so maybe, and Harry too, right? Because of his mom, what happened to his mom with the paparazzi, it's very clear that they overreact and are one flash bulb and they freak out, it seems. So I can understand where they're coming from that. So, but it doesn't help the credibility, right? This is yet now, as I'm learning this week with guests, so many examples of them being dishonest. And then, that carried into your theory that you think they're already separated. I want to go through some of these images and things you've brought, but there was this rumor out there of this trial separation due to nasty fights, humiliation, and so on. One of their close friends has now come forward to say that's just not true. You believe not only are they separated, but they've been separated. Can you elaborate?
Well, if you look at a lot of the pictures and a lot of the videos from previous, like for instance, in the Netflix docuseries, you see Meghan lean over and she's wearing this shirt that says Raising the Future. But there's a video clip that I have that clearly shows Harry going, and rolling his eyes because she's in the camera talking to whoever he was talking to. We saw what happened at the Mandela Day speech where she's grabbing onto his arm and he's trying to let go of her and she will not let go of his arm. I think he's miserable. I think he's been miserable for a long time, but I think he pushed it so far that I feel like he feels like he can't get out of it and go back to his family. He told his brother off, he told his family off, and now he's too embarrassed to say I made a mistake, which is why they say you marry in haste and repent in leisure.
Yeah, I mean, you have this whole theory here with the documentary, which would make sense. I don't know if how we're airing these episodes. I may have already released it, but according to Taz, brought in some interesting insight about this documentary and how they potentially would have already been broken up as this aired. And I sort of asked, well, why would you do that? And we've talked it out, and it's like, well, because you got to protect the brand. This is Netflix, it's a lot of money. It's all to keep guises. And as you were pointing out, with several screenshots, Meghan's constantly changing her appearances. And literally every time while she's changing, Harry is in the same black shirt.
Harry's in the same black shirt
over this supposed time. Oh, sorry, up there. Supposed time period, right? This is strange.
This is the interview, the picture before that right there. That's supposed to be at Easter. He's in the black shirt. Then you go back and there's a picture of him supposedly right after, well, that's after the Oprah interview. He's in the black shirt. Then there's a picture of him supposedly after Prince Philip died. He's in the black shirt. I think they went into that house and I think they taped all day for a couple of days and they made sure that she got clothing changes, but he didn't. He's in the same black shirt, literally every shot. And if it's not black, it's blue.
Well, and to be fair, that's very common to do in production. Like you do want to sort of reiterate, but for this documentary about, recreating the fly in the wall of their experience, this allegation that the whole documentary was faked, which is clear evidence of not helping. The other one I think of, Sue, is the Leaving Neverland, which is a whole which has been debunked like crazy about Michael Jackson. There's a whole scene where they took the victim. They're not victims, but had them detail the trauma, and the director made him shoot it again and add props. And like the director got caught reshooting this moment of this victim alleged, right? Like explaining the thing again to do it more effectively with props. It disgusts me. Like, who would ask someone to do it twice to make it more effective with prop? And it's the same type of attitude here where you're just like, clearly they want to evoke all this emotion and woe is me, the victim. I have my victim sound as they're complaining, weighing about this whole documentary that's supposed to move the nation. You make the point of, this was all nonsense. They just filmed it over a few days in a rented house that's not their own. I mean, I subscribe to that, Sue. You're selling me. I think that's all very production wise, like logistic. But why do you think that proves that they're not together?
Well, I think when you look later on, you never see them out in public anymore. Like I said, when you saw them in public, they were miserable, or he was miserable. And now you've got this going on with the production, and now you never see them together except during key moments when I think that they made sure to call the paps so that they could be seen together at key moments in time.
We're going to go through a couple of those. And before I do, here was another example. You had an interview you discovered where they're trying to make this home they're in, these sets, they're different sets, and they clearly just moved the couch to a different portion of the room, as you've discovered.
Move the couch in front of the window, and then there's another picture where they simply change what's behind the couch. They put up candles or whatever.
And she's wearing the lemon dress that she thinks Jill Biden wore in support of herself, the delusional.
I know, right? Who sees somebody else in a dress and immediately says, well, that's because they're supporting me? Please.
It's embarrassing, but sorry, the more examples of the house, but yes, you continue. Didn't mean to interrupt. So this was a point. They were at they're at a very exclusive bungalow place that has private entrances and exits, and somehow just happened to be known they're going to show up and papped at this very exclusive place that doesn't really allow photos. Correct?
The San Vicente bungalows, that is very exclusive. It's like $5,000 a year membership. There's a back entrance for the very wealthy people to get in and out so that they don't have to do the pap walk. And they make you put a sticker over your camera, so that you can't take pictures inside. It's that exclusive. And this would be the second time that there's been an issue with these bungalows with Harry and Meghan. And that's why the young lady on Dan Wooten the other night said that they have been banned from there. But the point is, these pictures were taken the day it was announced that they were being evicted from Frogmore Cottage. And then the next time you saw them together was when they were papped on the day they handed the keys over to Frogmore Cottage. You know, it's like it's very calculated when they're being seen in public together. And the articles came out, oh, they look so happy together. Look at Meghan's wide gesture next to Harry, and they're so in love. And look how happy Harry looks. I got to be honest.
Yeah, look at body language experts said, according to recent, the couple's marriage appears to be alive and well.
Well, I think you have the whole outing to the Montecito farmers market. She said, you know, they went out of their way to get this woman who took the pictures to say, nobody tipped me off. But if this is part of the rebranding, I believe, of Meghan to make her seem more relatable, look at her. She's just out at the farmer's market shopping with her $500,000 in jewelry and her $20,000 dress, carrying orchids and tasting honey. And if WME wants to show her as a normal person, they should show her at the local grocery store pushing a trolley cart, picking up fish sticks, and, you know, like a normal parent would do. Now, there was also a rumor. First of all, she brought the dog, which is against the rules due to cleanliness. So, but apparently those rules are just for the peasants, not for her. It was rumored that she was supposed to bring the kids as part of the rebranding to show the children, you know, and she was supposed to be out. And the rumor is that she wanted money to show the kids. And so Netflix said no. And so she refused to bring the children. That's the rumor, allegedly.
Speculation warning, opinion conspiracy, whatever. But yeah, it is very odd. We report on this, and it's like, I don't know. There was a lot of positive press of this photographer who was like, yeah, and they show up into all the events with their kids. It felt very much, hey, here's some money not only to get our picture, but say some good stuff about us out there and knock this rumor. So yeah, you're proving a picture that I believe, which is that it's a brand they have to be very careful of. There's clearly organized photography that they're setting. And there was something else we were talking about, which is correct. Like, oh, Andy, Sue, you're being too mean. This happens all the time, but it doesn't really. Like, think about it, guys.
It doesn't.
Like
not in
the celebrities you see out there, right? Like the paparazzo celebrities are Kardashians and people who are clearly, you know, egging it on and want it to happen. But the Taylor Swifts of the world, the Scarlett Johanssons, the Gwyneth Paltrow's, it's weird how they aren't snapped the same way that we just happen to always see Meghan. Is it not, Sue?
None of the stars in Montecito, they loved Montecito. It was quiet and the paparazzi left them alone. That's why the newspaper in Montecito put out that article that they're so upset with them because it's ruining the quiet town that they had because they brought the paps. And let me just say one other thing. You know, talk about a setup pap shot. In California, there's a law. You are not allowed to show the face of a child without parental permission. You cannot print it. That's why you always see the stars, their children are pixelated. And let's not forget that right before Louis's birthday, suddenly a pap picture of Meghan pregnant going down the sidewalk carrying Archie was put out with a full face of Archie. And you heard them say, that's illegal. We're going to do something about that. And you never heard another word about it. And that's because it was set up and they approved it. They were trying to knock Louis off the pages with a picture of Archie.
Well, look, you've sold me. They are. This is a fascinating breakdown. I may even have retitled this just because you're right. There's so much setup that you're proving here. Just there's a lot of manipulation happening. I'm not sold on the breakup, but at the same time, I could see that in order to have this amount of control and manipulation, the relationship would have to be just sort of it is what it is, a business relationship. So I hear you. Well, really good stuff. I appreciate it. I want to continue this conversation with Sue. We got so much more to talk about. We're going to head over to Popcorn Palace to talk more, but make sure you subscribe to her over at Sue Smith, Longsally. She's clearly got all the receipts. Subscribe here, subscribe over there. Hit that like, that thumbs up, the bell. You know all the things. Come on, if you haven't hit them already, you've watched a lot of videos here. I hope we've earned it at this point. Sue, such a pleasure to have you here. Let's continue the conversation, shall we? Over there. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for part 2 of Royal Guest Week with Sue Smith here on Popcorn Planet and Popcorn Palace.